Hello and welcome inside the studio of Down the Line Sports. This is Weekend Review number 16. My name is Jason Mazer.
And I'm Emory Kaplan. Starting off in the Major League Baseball, the MLB set the record for most home runs in a single month after Vladimir Guerrero's bomb to center field last week. This marked the 1,120th home run in May, the most of any month in history. It was announced that Astros shortstop Carlos Correa will be out 4 to 6 weeks after being diagnosed with a fractured rib, adding another key player to Houston's injured list. In terms of transactions, the Phillies acquired veteran slugger Jay Bruce over the weekend, with the return expected to be minor for the Mariners, since Philadelphia is taking on the bulk of his salary. Rockies pitcher Kyle Freeland was optioned to AAA at the end of last week after pitching to a 7.13 ERA and allowing 16 home runs through 12 starts this season. Freeland is only 1 year removed from placing third in the National League Cy Young voting after going 17-7 with the 2.85 ERA in 2018. Regarding injuries, Phillies outfielder Andrew McCutchen tore his ACL on Tuesday, ending his season and resulting in the team calling up number 3 prospect outfielder Adam Hazley. The MLB draft took place on Monday, and the Baltimore Orioles selected Oregon State catcher Adley Rutschman with the first overall pick, followed by top high school shortstop Bobby Witt Jr., who was taken by the Kansas City Royals. The compensatory pick taken from the team that signs Dallas Keuchel will exist no longer, with the former Cy Young winner expected to sign in the coming days, with the New York Yankees emerging as the favorites to sign him. Yesterday, the Cleveland Indians announced that starting pitcher Carlos Carrasco is stepping away from baseball activities after being diagnosed with a blood condition. There seems to be no current timetable for his return, as this is a very scary injury and no one really knows the details of it yet. Also, 7-time All-Star closer Craig Kimbrell finally reached a deal with the Chicago Cubs yesterday, agreeing to a 3-year, $43 million deal. Kimbrell has been one of the most dominant closers in the league for the better part of a decade and will add an excellent arm into the Cubs bullpen.
In the NBA, projected number 2 pick Ja Morant underwent minor knee surgery on Monday. He's expected to fully recover in 3 to 4 weeks, with the draft coming later this month. On to free agency news. It was rumored that Kevin Durant sold his house in the Bay Area and purchased one in New York. This is great news for Knicks fans, as they hope KD will come to the Garden and try to turn around their once storied franchise. Upcoming free agent Kawhi Leonard purchased a house in Toronto, indicating that he will stay in the North and re-sign with the Raptors after leading them to the finals this year. In an interview with The Athletic, star point guard Kemba Walker said that staying with Charlotte is his first priority. After making third-team All-NBA, Walker is now eligible for a Supermax extension, which consists of a 5-year, $221 million deal. The New Orleans Pelicans have finally begun listening to trade offers for Anthony Davis. President of Basketball Operations David Griffin hoped that effectively landing Zion Williamson would get the superstar big man to stay in New Orleans, but he still has his eyes set on leaving. 42-year-old Vince Carter announces that this upcoming season, the 22nd of his career, will be his last. And in the finals, the Raptors stole Game 3. 30 points from Kawhi Leonard and incredible shooting from Danny Green and Kyle Lowry, who knocked down a combined 11 threes, helped the Raptors lift over a career-high 47-point performance from Steph Curry. The Warriors were completely injury-barred last night, as All-Stars Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson were out with their respective injuries, and the Raptors are able to hand the Warriors their first loss at the Oracle since Game 7 of the 2016 Finals, 123-109. 47 points from the Chef are the highest point total in an NBA loss in history, only behind James with 51 in Game 1 of last year. The Warriors will hopefully get back Thompson and KD before Game 4 on Friday night as they look to even up the series at 2.
Jumping over to the NFL, Rookie of the Year Saquon Barkley believes that highly controversial number 6 overall pick Daniel Jones has the capability of winning 2 Super Bowls just like Barkley's current starting quarterback Eli Manning. We are less than 100 days away from the NFL kickoff for the 2019 season, and newly acquired superstar Browns wide receiver was a no-show at the beginning of Cleveland Browns offseason team activities. Odell Beckham Jr. has caused much concern for this offense, as first-year head coach Freddie Kitchens says that OBJ has missed a lot of their new scheme. However, Beckham has reported that to the dog pound ahead of mandatory minicamps. In other news, Los Angeles Rams running back Todd Gurley is prepared to lighten his workload this season after a year in which he had a recurring knee injury, and that seemed to still be a problem. the Carolina Panthers signed defensive tackle Jared McCoy to a one-year $8.5 million deal after he was released by the Buccaneers earlier this month. Longtime 49ers linebacker Navarro Bowman announced his retirement yesterday after going unsigned this past season, and the 49ers extended six-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle Joe Staley. Staley inked a two-year deal that will keep him in San Francisco through the 2021 NFL season.
In soccer, this past Wednesday, the Europa League final was held, and Chelsea took care of business, defeating the Arsenal Gunners 4-1 and securing a spot in next year's Champions League. Eden Hazard scored twice and said after the game, "I think this is goodbye," as this was most likely his last game as a Blue before he transfers to the Spanish Giants in Real Madrid. This past Saturday, Mohamed Salah and Liverpool faced off against Harry Kane and the Hotspurs of Tottenham in the finals of the Champions League. The tone was set early for Liverpool after a controversial handball call led to a Mo Salah penalty goal. In the 87th minute, Divock Origi scored the dagger as Liverpool went on to win their sixth ever European title as they redeemed themselves after losing in the finals of last year's tournament. Over to international news. Brazilian superstar Neymar will be out of the Copa America this summer as he suffered an ankle ligament injury in a friendly match against Qatar yesterday.
In Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals on Monday, the St. Louis Blues evened the series at 2 apiece after a 4-2 victory. Patrick O'Reilly's second goal of the game broke a 2-2 tie in the middle of the third period. Game 5 will take place in Boston tonight.
And finally in boxing, the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Anthony Joshua, fought Andy Ruiz Jr. for the heavyweight title on Saturday night. This should have been a tune-up fight for an expected mega bout between Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Joshua closed the fight as a minus 2,500 favorite to retain his belt, but Andy Ruiz was prepared to shock the world. Ruiz, a plus 110 underdog, defeated Anthony Joshua with a 7th round TKO. Ruiz became the first Mexican heavyweight champion and completed one of the biggest comebacks in the sport since Buster Douglas defeated Mike Tyson back in 1990. Wilder tweeted after the fight that Joshua is not a true champion and calling him a weak-minded coward.
Well, that's all for Down the Line Sports Week in Review number 16. Thank you for watching. See you next time.